Hey everybody, welcome to the MrMaple Show. Today we're talking about the 10 at 10 on Tuesday selection for February 8th, 2022.
Hey, and I'm Matt. Thanks for clicking on another MrMaple video. You know, I apologize to the person that said they didn't like us saying please like and subscribe, but we're always going to ask. So definitely like and subscribe and share. We take just a second of our videos to request that, so hopefully it works well. And we greatly appreciate you watching. Today we've got a fun one. It's going to be February 8th for this 10 at 10 that you're seeing now. So we're getting into spring really fast, and we're really excited about that. We're really excited about putting out more content for you. So we hope you enjoy this brief preview of our 10 at 10 for February 8th, 2022.
Hi, I'm Tim at MrMaple, and we greatly appreciate watching today's special video on the 10 at 10 that we're listing today at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. These are some amazing plants that I think you'll really enjoy. These are only 10 of the 20 trees actually getting listed. So they all couldn't fit up here on the table, so we're going to talk about 10 specific ones from today's 10 at 10.
Yeah, we've got a good lineup for you. And to reiterate, this is the February 8th of 2022. So if you're watching this video in March, some of these things may be sold out, but this is what we'll have around February 8th of 2022. The first one up here we've talked about in several videos. In fact, we've done a solo video on Gold Digger. We've also talked about it in some of our winter interest videos. We have ACER Palmatum Gold Digger. Now that's a MrMaple introduction. It was one we named that a friend of ours found, and you've heard us talk about it before. If you're familiar with MrMaple, it's definitely one you've seen us put up before because we like that one a lot. It's got some amazing bark changes, almost more red going into winter, but yellows throughout the summer, and just pinks to almost yellow on it throughout the winter months. I mean, it really goes through some cool changes. My favorite thing about that one being the pink spring color.
Yeah, this is one too that when you give it some sunlight goes through those color changes just like Matt talked about. When we originally found out about this, as you may have seen in our Amazing Winter Interest Japanese Maples Part 2, this plant here was in deep shade at Laddie Munger's house. And it was just yellow all the way down to the base. Mm-hmm. So if you do grow this in deep shade, it will give you more yellow colors on the bark.
A real soft yellow.
Yeah.
And that pink I was mentioning is actually the blushing over the green on the new growth in the spring.
Yeah, and it almost has that sort of pinkish blush on the new growth right now going into the winter, starting to get more of that orange color. Gold Digger is such a unique winter interest Japanese maple. We really like it as part of our Area 51 collection. I think this is a really neat one that gives some nice spring interest, some good winter interest, and really even some good fall color where you can get some yellows, oranges, and even some bold reds.
For sure.
Our next one we have up is a conifer. We've got a lot of conifers on our 10 at 10s. So if you love conifers, definitely check out our weekly listings because we often list as many conifers as we can to get us even more numbers, like up to 20 this week. And this is Pinus thunbergii OCULUS draconis. This is a really neat Japanese pine that has long needles, but it's got a green, like a lime green variegation on that darker green. It really is neat for a Japanese black pine. And Japanese black pines are really neat because they're very heat tolerant, they're salt tolerant. And so a lot of people like growing them on the coast, especially up in New Jersey where they can't grow a lot of plants towards that coast. They can grow this right there on the coast and it thrives and does well.
Hey, you know, if you've watched any of our roundtable discussion ones, I like the flashy plants. I love variegated conifers. This is one that always catches my eye. That spring flush on it, I think, is one of the most remarkable parts of time of the year. But I mean, it's cool all year long. It's a conifer that just brings an immense amount of color to the garden. I think, you know, like Tim touched on too with the thunbergii, they're incredibly durable plants too. I love that about it. But I think it's a great one to add to the garden.
Next up, we have ACER Palmatum Punkil.
Yeah, Punkil is another Leonard Lobelum selection. So this is going to be a very, very dark maroon with that thinner foliage. Exceptionally dark. I love how dark the foliage is, but it also holds that color really well late into the season.
Yeah, this is one that I plugged it into some translators and thought it meant windswept. And the name I thought was just so perfect for the leaves just being so thin and how they blow in the wind. And then Talon Buchholz let me know that this was the name of one of the curators at the Chilipo Arboretum in Korea. And so I was like, oh, so it's an introduction from that arboretum.
Yeah.
And
his name just happened to have this really cool meaning too.
So that
is correct.
Yeah. And so it's very fitting.
Yeah. Lovely plant. I mean, I think the description and even the translation of the guy's name, it just happened to be his name as well. I mean, it's named for a guy whose name had that graceful appearance that I think encapsulates what this one does very well too. So next up on the table here, we have ACER Palmatum Dissectum BERRIMA Bridge.
Yeah, and this is a nice weeping lace leaf. It's got a really nice spring color where it's almost, when it's first leafing out, it almost looks like it has golden tips. And then as it matures, it goes to more of that salmon sort of pink, vibrant color, sometimes in full sun. And then to a green with some really, really bold shades of red. We've got some great photos of that on our website from Wendy Billingsleaf from the Maple Society. I appreciate her letting us use some of her photos. It's a fantastic little dwarf weeping lace leaf.
Now this one's from BERRIMA Nursery there in Australia. It's a beautiful selection. BERRIMA Bridge is named by the same people who named BERRIMA Gold. An awesome tree from Australia you're sure to love. This one comes from that same nursery. BERRIMA Bridge has that, you know, we've heard us use this term before, but a blushing of pink in the spring. So it kind of has that two-tone color to it where it has an overlay of almost yellowy green, but it has a blushing of bright pink over top of that.
Yeah, it's one that gives you some unique spring interest, then a nice summery feel with that green color during the summer. A lot of those greens during the summer really give that lively feel to the garden, and then you get that bold fall color, making this an excellent tree that can do great in containers or shorter spaces in the landscape and garden.
Super colorful lace leaf.
Next we have up a European beech. We try to put as many European beeches and mix them into our collection. You've probably noticed us offering more and more European beech selections. This is a classic called Purple Fountain. It's one that will often develop a central leader and then cascade off of that, which really gives a really nice dramatic weeping effect with purple, deep purple, maroon, purple leaves.
There's some beautiful older specimens of this, but really what it's famous for is that dark foliage. I mean, it is a dark purple. I mean, in early spring you get such a really majestic color. I think it's a really fun color to play off of other plants in the garden in. It's a fun plant texturally because you're going to have that upright habit, but then that weeping texture to it. I mean, it's going to kind of give you the same thing you think of with like a pendulous conifer that has that same almost like you know, golden or gold drift that's going to have that same shape to it. So it has an upright shape but a weeping habit. It just gives some really good textures. It's a fun plant to pair with conifers like that, of course, but also a great pairing for Japanese maples because of all the colors it brings.
And next up, we've got one of our employee favorites, Chamaecyparis nookatensis. Some people argue the species. I know that it's often been classified by botanists as a new species, as we often get frustrated with that sometimes in the nursery trade because you put things on a label, people start searching for it, and then it gets changed to a new species.
I think we want to give the most honest answer to our customers, so we try to list things in ways people know. We hate for somebody to try to buy a new plant under a different name and feel like, oh my gosh, I bought this already under this name, now it's under this name, because those species names change quite a bit. We never change cultivar names.
As Dr. Creech says, botanists have to eat too, so they always have to keep reclassifying plants to where is most accurate.
So for you botanists watching, quit changing our species. The nurserymen are tired of it.
But we have a plant that was found as a variegated sport and introduced by Talon Buchholz called Sparkling Arrow. This is one of our favorite weeping Alaskan cedars.
Yeah, this is a sport off of Green Arrow, so it's still got that great upright characteristic to it with some growth that looks like it's kind of weeping down from there, but with all the flash you could ever want in a variegated conifer. I mean, you can see here, they light up the winter garden. It's an exuberant plant that's going to go out and give you that tall, columnar, real majestic look to it, but it's also going to have that variegated spark of flash too. So it's one that's always popular. We've had a lot of requests to have it in a 1 gallon. We had it in a 2 gallon last time, so we're bringing it to you in a 1 this time. So hope you enjoy that.
I love it just because it goes straight up and then goes straight down. So the side branches just are, and then on top of that you get variegation. So this can give you just a nice flagpole out there in the landscape with some amazing splash evergreen color. That really is something that adds to any landscape and garden. When you see a big one of these, you realize you need one of these in your garden because that tall habit with that narrow habit can fit in almost anyone's garden, but at the same time gives something unique with a unique texture and breaks up the landscape.
Oh, it'll be a photographer's dream, and it'll also be a focal point in your garden. I mean, it's going to draw the eye, and it's a drama plant that's going to make, you're going to have to look at it in the garden. There's no missing it. It's amazing, and I think it's one, you know, it's on Buckholz's poster because of that. It tends to be in a lot of people's, you know, graphics of their nursery if they have one planted, just because it's so intense. Now, next up on the table here, we wanted to bring you some ginkgo. We're always mixing the ginkgo in. You know, we used to have the whole separate website with Mr. Ginkgo. We still do, but we link it there in MrMaple. So we've got a lot of ginkgos coming up. We've got Ginkgo biloba BRNHEIM broom. Just an excellent variety here for you.
An excellent dwarf that was found as a witch's broom at Bernheim Arboretum. And it is so unique with its dense, compact habit. But it's not as small as something like troll or gnome. It's a little bit bigger, making it a nice mid-sized dwarf. So this is going to be a dwarf ginkgo that's going to be a little bit larger than some of your trolls and your gnomes, and still give you that excellent yellow fall color that people love on ginkgos.
Real nice rounded shape to it and great fall color.
With ginkgos, the key thing is to make sure to give them lime. I hope you realize this. Whenever you get a ginkgo from us, you always want to give it lime as it's getting established. Lime helps those ginkgos get established and take up water and nutrients by adjusting the pH of the soil to make it the best for that plant while it's getting established. So they love garden lime. And
that's just pelletized garden lime too. Don't make the margarita for the ginkgo. Make the margarita for yourself. Put the pelletized garden lime on the ginkgo. They're going to be way happier than if you squeeze the lime all over it. You've heard us make that joke before, but we've had questions about it. So the next one up is ADRIAN'S Compact. We actually have a whole video devoted to this one as well. ADRIAN'S is a really fun, colorful dwarf.
Yeah, it has a nice rounded habit as it matures, very dense, has a little bit larger leaf that's a little ruffled, and this one has a deep red maroon color. And so this makes a nice little ball shape almost naturally. I mean, it does it so well that it gives a unique shape out there in the landscape as that compact habit. And that ADRIAN'S Compact is really a great name because it really does have that nice compact habit for something that has a much larger leaf.
It's an excellent candidate for a container garden. You know, you normally think of smaller plants with bonsai, but certainly that shape would be fun with bonsai with the larger leaf. It'd be something unique. It's a really cool plant overall, though. I think it's one that you'd enjoy, especially in container culture, but it does great in the ground as well.
It appears to be a broom that doesn't have that short and center node. That's something that's kind of unique about it. It normally just has that larger leaf to it where you don't really notice much of a short and center lobe.
Now, moving on here, there's another one here that's really popular for bonsai.
Kashima. Kashima, also known as Chiba. This is a dense dwarf green that's a fantastic multi-branched little dwarf that is often used in container culture, especially bonsai, because of those small leaves that make it so phenomenal for bonsai or that pinchback method where they come back with smaller leaves on the second flush.
Yeah, it's an excellent small compact dwarf, always popular for bonsai. Any of these styles are. Shout out to Augustin. I think I used the photo I took at his place when I was visiting him there in Toulouse. It's just an excellent picture. It's a small, compact one. I think the picture I actually used is in a really nice decorative pot there on his patio, and it's a great candidate for that. Container culture is a great way to be growing this one. Next up on the table, we've got another fun conifer for you. We've listed this one before. We have Winter Gold, Karsten's Winter Gold.
Yeah, and this is one when we were going around the nursery, we realized we had some low grafts that hadn't been listed in a while. And so we said, shoot, we better get those back on there. And so when these get relisted, you'll notice them both as a low graft and as a high graft. And that high graft lollipop, you'll notice is on a standard, which is very different from the one that is grafted low. Now they're going to have the same shape, and they're going to be nice rounded dwarf mugo pine that gives you some really nice yellow winter interest, but they're just starting at different points.
Yeah, that's that Pinus mugo, Karsten's Winter Gold. I said Winter Gold when I first said it, but you can kind of get an example there of the low graft, and that means that that graft is at a very low point versus the ones on kind of this standard here. We like to do a few of them on that kind of lollipop standard look just to give them a little something different. Excellent color in the winter garden. I think it's one that, it's one of our more popular conifers probably. It's one we do a lot of here for sure.
It is. We try to keep this one in stock because it really gives that yellow color. And as I always talk about, yellow brings out the whole landscape. It helps you see all your colors of different shades of green, contrast well against your blues and your reds on your Japanese maples. And so that's something that's really going to make it pop, and it really draws the interest, but also doesn't take up a lot of space being a dwarf mugo pine.
For sure. Hey, we hope you like this quick look at the February 8th, 2022 10 at 10 Again, we're getting close on spring here, so we're super excited. We're ready to make some more in-leaf content for you. We hope you've enjoyed all the beautiful pictures Brian's been editing into our videos and really giving them that spring feel. It definitely is getting us excited for it.
Absolutely. We hope you enjoyed this amazing variety of plants that we had on our 10 at 10. And we're going to be making more of these videos every Tuesday to let you guys know what's coming on that sale for that Tuesday. So we really appreciate you guys checking that out.
Hey, if you're watching this live on February 8th, these will be examples of plants that are going to be on today's 10 at 10. We air these videos every day at 9. Our 10 at 10 is at 10 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So be ready to check that out. This is a quick preview for it. You're getting the inside information even before the email goes out. So we hope you like that quick preview ahead of time. And let us know if these quick preview videos where you get a little inside look at it before everybody else, if it's something you're interested in. We like to provide this for our people who are watching the Mr. Maple show because we like doing this channel and it's been a lot of fun. So we hope that's something that you're enjoying. So let us know in the comments below if you like that early look at the 10 at 10. And thanks for liking, subscribing, and sharing. We always appreciate those shares, and we greatly appreciate you shopping on MrMaple.com. God bless.
And have a great day.
Hey, I just wanted to remind everybody about our giveaway. All you have to do to be entered is like, subscribe, and share to our YouTube channel, and then post in the comment section below, I dig Mr. Maple. And that's going to enter you to win. You can enter under every single video. So just a reminder, every single video is a chance to win. We're getting very close. We're creeping up on it pretty fast. We're going to hit 8,000 pretty soon. And when we do, we're going to select some people to win this hat. If this is a popular thing, we may be doing more. Get involved.